What is up? What is going on? Good Monday evening to you, everybody. How are you doing? I'm doing just great. I, of course, am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you once again on a fairly mellow Monday. Hello to you all. Uncle Brat, greetings. Sean Hall, Neckbeardia, hello. Good evening to you, James. I hope you are well, my friend. And Megan, I hope she's on the mend soon. And that super I sent you, that, like I said, chocolate or a libation, get her feeling better. Damien, Kennick, Jimmy Invictus. But anyway, I hope everybody is having an absolutely fabulous evening. Gen X Geek, hello. I feel much better. Yeah, so I'm on the mend, but trust me, I'm not getting stupid. Trace Richards, good to see you. Because the one thing you can do, and this, regardless of what bug you have, and experience has taught me not to underestimate what a bad virus can do to you. So like the big thing I got done today, the big thing that I got done today was moving my studio chair back over here and moving the other one out into the den where it belongs. I feel a little better. Thank you. I was just discussing that. Yeah, so trust me, this is about as exciting and as exhilarating as I get. But I'm hoping this week to start work on the footage from Gary Con to get some content out to you guys. It's like so stale at this point. It's a historical document. It's not even like a news flash update kind of thing. But anyway, I feel moderately better. Thank you all for your well wishes. It was, a week ago, like it was brutal, it was absolutely brutal. I will say that I felt worse when I had H1N1 back in 2011. That kept me down for like 2 weeks plus. And that was murder. That was absolutely terrible. And I hated every minute of it. So, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now. Thank you all very much for asking. And, I've been digging through stuff. Like I lost this for the longest time. That's my copy of Till Death Do Us Part by Heidi and Eric. And I was like, I know I got the damn thing home. I was going nuts. I was pulling stuff out and that sort of thing, trying to find it. But the news about that is, if you're a backer, you probably already know this, but just in case you don't, they wrote an expansion to it that they originally said, okay, when we hit this point, or if we hit this goal on the Kickstarter, we're going to release an expansion called Under the Waterfowl. And I won't spoil what all that entails, but they said, okay, well, we're going to release a PDF expansion. And then they said, you know what? We did successfully enough that Under the Waterfowl is going to be its own print module. So if you bought in at the level where you get the expansion, I would imagine that you're going to get a print copy of Under the Waterfowl. So that is very cool. I have an advanced copy of the PDF. I will be doing a spoiler light review this week of it. So keep your eyes out for that. I'm looking forward to it. Getting to the post office this week. That's a thing that's going to happen. Those of you who know why, know why. gosh, what else is going on? Okay. So Alan Hammock will be a guest on the show. He will be on Wednesday. Thursday, he's got some doings a happening, some happenings a transpiring. But Alan Hammock will be our show guest this week on Wednesday, not on Thursday. So you want to tune in for that, because let me tell you, Alan Hammock wrote some of the D&D greats. He edited Greyhawk, the Greyhawk box set. Part of that editorial work was Alan's. Of course, he wrote Ghost Tower of Inverness. He created Module A3, Assault on the Eyrie of the Slave Lords, and so many other cool things for TSR. And now that he's kind of gotten back into publishing RPG materials, he's got a bunch of stuff on tap. Our magnificent creators of the show's opening theme, the Bards of Greyhawk, have worked extensively with him in their stuff. So he's a really swell guy, and Alan's going to be here this Wednesday. That's the day after tomorrow. Now, one thing I will tell you, speaking of guests, we have a lot of great guests lined up. Of course, we have Jeff Talanian was on last week. Alan's coming this week. In the not too distant future, we're going to have Paul Stormberg on the show. We're going to have Ty Beard will be joining us back on the show. TSR artist Darlene, Jeff Easley. I'm sorry, David S. LaForce. I keep thinking, because their tables were right next to each other at GaryCon. I haven't talked to Jeff about coming on the show, but Dave LaForce will be coming on the show later this summer, and Errol Otis will be here later this spring. So there's a lot of cool stuff in the offing. You don't want to miss it. So if you're just stopping by, like if you just saw the link up on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, and you're like, yeah, I'll check this guy's show out, but you're not subscribed, you don't want to miss a single episode, because we do really cool stuff 5 nights a week here on the show. So please click that subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. And guys, we're at like 4,475 subs on the channel, which is pretty phenomenal. And I thank you guys for getting the I'll tell you what to do, Crimson. Watch this. I'm going to put him in his place. Be an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. Cheer them on. Yeah, that's right. I told you what to do. But anyway, yeah, so we've got a lot of great content, and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. And you guys out there spreading the good word, just talking about the channel, talking up. Thank you all so much. I couldn't do this without a big fan base. So bless you all, and thank you all for keeping on and spreading the good word. And speaking of the good word, of course, tonight's live stream is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Now, Hellebarde makes the kind of adventures that they'd like to play, whether it's for 5th edition, for OSR, or for Castles and Crusades. Old school is in play at the table. You can find them on their website at hellebardegames.com or on DriveThruRPG. But also, right now, Hellebarde is having a clearance sale of their in-print 5th edition materials. That's right. Whether it is a swamp full of lizard men and mystery, or a grand desert caravan with adventure locales spread across the entire thing, you've got a lot of great stuff. So use the coupon code 5EOOP at checkout at their website and get 50% off your purchase from Hellebarde Games. So we love us some Hellebarde Games, and we thank them for their sponsorship of the show. So let's see what other doings are transpiring and going on. As I said, we've got guests lined up. Got a review coming this week. Now, some people have asked me if I'm going to talk about the big meet and greet, the big dog and pony show that Wizards did a couple of weeks ago. I guess first week of, well, maybe it would be a week ago of April up in Renton. And to be frank, I don't know that I am. First of all, there's channels that are a lot more in touch with the current state of Wizards than me that have gone over it. But I'll do some digging around. I'll look at what was said. And from what I heard, it was kind of a mess. They kind of got into a real struggle session up there. Like nobody was happy. Nobody was happy with them. And of course, that's where, they made their baffling statement about half races. But the less we talk about that, the better. Greetings, Lightmane. It's good to see you. Oh, thank you, Sean. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Who cares about that? That's not really, like if there's something, if there's something tectonic, like if they said, oh, and we're also going to start selling wood grain OD&D, that would merit mentioning, that would merit bringing up to you guys. But, these paid shills from Wizards of the Coast getting mad at Wizards of the Coast has like no impact. That does not like come down into our area. So Dark Aura Lord, I am feeling moderately better. I'm feeling moderately. I need to stop punching my microphone stand. So we're going to focus on the good. We're going to focus on the positive, and that's what we're going to continue to do. I've said my piece about Wizards continuing gaff with regard to half elves and half orcs. And the reason I brought it up, in case it was kind of lost in my very long stretches of brain fog, oh, I agree, Nadine. I think it's hilarious too. But was that they said, oh well, we're going to put sensitivity readers on old material too, which that should concern us, particularly if you don't have your complete set of OD&D, of AD&D, of second edition, or even third edition. Get it while you can. Get it while you can. And I know a lot of people are like, but no, I want it in print. Trust me, just because something is not POD on their website doesn't mean you can't send it to Printivity, or you can't send it to Lulu yourself. Trust me, you can. I'm fighting the mic. That's right. Hail Unbreaded, Michael Connor. Well, that's good to know, Mod Hunter. So, beware of that, I guess, is what I'm saying, guys, is beware of that. That's something we should be concerned about, and things that it continue to impact that, and the ability of small publishers to continue to create. Those are the things we have to be on watch for. Coralang, 70 new 7-inch action figures, Wizards Kids and Nika, straight from the 80s D&D cartoon. Wiz Kids unveiled the Ultimate Strongheart and Ultimate Zarek action figures. That's very cool. I don't I know a lot of people are very into the action figure scene. I've seen some of them, and I get what they're going for, right? Okay, so here's the thing with the action figures. Let me back in the 70s and 80s when we were kids, and action figures, little 3-inch action figures or whatever, Star Wars action figures, and the little tiny G.I. Joes started coming out. We, as Gen Xers of age 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever, had our Star Wars figures, and we didn't really get too deep into, oh Lord, this doesn't look like Mark Hamill at all, right? I mean, Han Solo doesn't look much like Harrison Ford. Although I will say the original 77 Obi-Wan action figure, I think, does bear a strong resemblance to Alec Guinness. But we as kids, we didn't care because, at arm's length, buried in the sand, riding on the handlebars of our bike, stuck in the cockpit of our toy X-Wing or Millennium Falcon, they looked right, and that's what mattered, right? They just looked awesome. And so we loved them and enjoyed them. The D&D action figures are meant to hearken back to that time of very simple sculpts and moldings of figures that we didn't so much care about. It's not so much that you're getting a D&D action figure that looks like what it's supposed to look like. It's that you're engaging in a bit of nostalgia of, when you go to Kmart with $3 and you'd buy a Star Wars action figure or a G.I. Joe action figure back in the year of our Lord, 1982, 83, whatever. So it's not as though you're buying something quality. Here's the thing. Those figures run about $20. I want something that's going to look halfway decent. If I'm going to buy something like that as a desktop tchotchke, I don't want something that would have satisfied 10-year-old me as far as a toy goes. I want something that really looks the part. And those D&D action figures that they've come out with now don't do that. They look naff, okay? And that doesn't appeal to me. So that's just my hot take on it. The Dungeon Minister does a good Sean Connery impression. Your attack was too slow, Sean Hall. No better than that of a clumsy child. But anyway, so that is my feeling about the line of action figures. Now, it's kind of a the merch pieces. Thank you, Pepe. That's about the best I can do. Comrades, today we sail into history. I aim to please, late main. I haven't heard Dungeon Minister do the impression yet. He could perhaps do better than me. Yeah, I can do an older Connery. I can't really pull off young Sean Connery. Just kind of drop an octave, clamp my tongue between my molars in the back, and anyway, so the merch that Wizards of the Coast has put on. Let's talk about what a lot of people like, their light up dice tower demon idol, which, I mean, you guys can see I've got my hand painted one here. It's in the opening credits I mean, that's not a dice tower. That's like an appropriate 28 millimeter size representation of what's on the cover of the player's handbook. As an homage, it's not like I don't like it. I genuinely don't like it because it's they took away the horns. They gave it these weird like elf ears instead of the horns. Like, why did you do that? And the face, there's just something wrong. It looks almost kind of rubbery, not like carved from stone like it should. But the next one, and this, like, I even did like a short little video that like it completely got demonetized. It's the absolute state of Dungeons and Dragons, and it's the Ifrit, and the thing is like this tall. It's crazy how tall it is. For reasons that I don't understand, and maybe one of you out there in the audience, perhaps one of you could explain it to me, seeing as how I don't understand. So that's about as young as Sean Connery I can give you guys. So they took the Ifrit from the cover of the Dungeon Master's Guide. They deleted on the wizard and the assassin or magic user, thief, or whatever you want to call her, being clutched in the Ifrit's hand, and they took the knight who was standing at the thing's feet and put it in the Ifrit's hand. Which I don't like. I don't. Why would you do that? Like, honestly, why did you like delete a heroic woman fighting the Ifrit? That's kind of offensive, don't you think? I'm not just going around looking for stuff to be offended by. So it's a bit of a head scratcher to me that they've made two fundamental changes in art for reasons that I don't get it. Right. And I know people buy them and they like them and they think they're very cool, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't understand why Wizards of the Coast would mutilate the art that way. And I guess you could call it a tribute. It's not supposed to exactly be the cover of the Dungeon Master's Guide or the cover of the Player's Handbook. They're meant to be tributes to it. I mean, to me, it's I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but it would be like a vintage or a repro of a vintage Star Wars movie poster where, like, Luke had dark hair and a mustache. I must ask you a question. So, I don't. Again, if you bought those things, and I know people who have, like, I'm friends with people who have, and I've seen them, and they look kind of neat, but at the same time, even setting aside the Ifrit, let's just leave the Ifrit out of the discussion entirely. Let's go back to the Demon Idol. Like, why like the kind of long pointy head with big flappy ears instead of the squarish, squattish, roundish head? I mean, This no, I gotta share this. It bugs me. It bothers me because there was no reason to make this change. And I apologize for my voice cracking. Hey, RPG Grandma, you want to go to the dance? Hello, Bob Gesture. Bob Gesture. Yes, Bob Gesture. Let me see. See if I can find this thing. Okay, here we go. Here we are. I'm going to bring this out. So okay, so there we are. You see what I'm saying? It's just it doesn't like it doesn't look right. Okay, there's like this uncanny valley kind of thing. It's too narrow in the shoulders, and the brazier it's holding in its hands is too deep. I don't know what it is. I mean, and the ears, they're supposed to be horns, guys. They're supposed to be horns. Now look at this. Let's see. I mean, oh, for pity's sake. They're completely different. They even got the number of fingers wrong on the hands holding the brazier. It's, I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me, am I overthinking of it? Is this just is this just like a tempest in a teapot? Because I just feel like it's something that they could have gotten right just as easily. Yeah, exactly, Bob. No, that's a demon idol. And Otherworld, again, you guys see it in the credits. I'm not sure if I can get this. We all know how well this goes when I try and pick stuff up. Let's see if I can, without knocking anything off. But I mean, here's the Otherworld piece. And even from here, you can tell that's correct. It was just as easy for them to get right. You would think that a toy company would be able to get something correct. We can do this without breaking anything. It'll be a first if I set this down and nothing falls. Well, there, you guys saw it. I actually picked something up off my shelf behind me and put it back on the shelf behind me, and I didn't destroy anything in the process. No, Bob, it's completely fine, right? I mean, enjoy it. Vinny Notabartolo, who is a somewhat semi-frequent audience member, like he goes gaga for stuff like that, and I say more power to you, man. You enjoy life. You go out there and enjoy it. Like he's got like this Tiamat that's like 2 feet in diameter or something like that as a quote unquote miniature. But is it? Yeah. Oh, maybe that's the problem, Dungeon Minister. Maybe that's a half demon, and they had to stop the miscegenation. They just had to stop that in its tracks. That's all part of their their plan. Needless change for Six's laziness, poor version of the art. That's for sure, and I agree with you. I mean, I don't honestly think wizards are good stewards of classic D&D anyway. Even when they were making this, and I'm gonna have to like pull just one day when I just want to create like rage bait again live on camera. I'll have to pull up the Wizards of the Mike Merles talking about the production of that thing and how happy he was to alter some quite frankly what did he call it? Questionable, disgusting. He used a pejorative for Deb Larson's art for Supplement 3, Eldritch Wizardry, which personally I think is one of the most evocative and arresting pictures in OD&D art, which it's not there. I can just see it peeking out here. You know, here's I'm not even going to try it. Here's Eldritch Wizardry, you know, and we have the supplicants on the altar there. Yeah, that was done by a 16-year-old girl and submitted. You know, edgy McEdgelord back in 1974, right? But yeah, Merles was braying about how happy he was to not have that art in the cigar box set of OD&D that was released back in 2014. Like he was happy about the fact that the art had been obscured, that it had been covered up. I think the original image is still in the book. I'm not gonna try to be like 20 minutes of you guys staring at my butt while I dug through that just to kind of you know, to look at it. But anyway, I'm just I'm catching up with y'all's comments and everything. Now, I have heard, I'll have to go back and I'll have to see how true this is or is not, but I have heard, oh, hey, Doomsword, you snuck in on me, that TSR wanted like Frazetta and Vallejo and other named pulp fantasy and SF artists to represent the look of D&D, but it was like, you know, one booklet image drawing was like more than their entire art budget. You know, it's like we can get one Frank Frazetta drawing or none at all. So we wound up with what we had. And to be honest with you, I love it, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. We have Deb Larson, Tracy Lesh, Greg Bell, G.K. Fleming, and then, of course, later on, Errol Otis, Dave Sutherland, Dave LaForce, Jeff D., Darlene. Did anyone get kicked? I haven't seen anyone get kicked. I haven't kicked anyone. It's only me. Half Demon Cutie. Wait, did I miss something? Damn it. Bob saw the movie. It was decent. So Here's what I have from Eric Garland and Heidi Gygax. They both said that it was a fun movie and that Gary would have gotten a kick out of it. She felt that Gary would have liked the approach and the presentation. So if it's still available on Amazon, I may check it out. I think I asked you guys last week. Last week's a little hazy, so if I repeat myself on stuff that I may have said last week, I apologize. I think you guys can find it in your heart to forgive me, yeah? But if I asked last week, again I ask, and if not, then I ask now. If you guys would like the Delver's opinion on the movie, I'll see if I can rent it on Amazon still. I'll watch it and I'll review it for you guys. Okay. That's up to y'all. Somebody talking about tieflings. Yeah, I mean, tieflings are one of those things. They and alu fiends, which are semi-demons, that first popped up in Monster Manual 2. They may have been in S4 also. But those are interesting one-off concepts for a DM to explore. I've mentioned this in the past that my Monday night game, which I'm playing tonight, I'm going to be very glad to get back to that. For a while, as an NPC, the party knew by species a demon, but in all other ways, former. And she joined the party for a while, for a long while, actually. And it kind of started a whole arc with a player character, and it was a lot of fun. It was a fun one-off. The party's not going to run into something like that again. That would rob it of its specialness, of its uniqueness, of its special place. In my campaign world, like if they were just like, oh, I wonder what the next lawful good demon we're going to meet will be. And so yeah, we run into your ilk all the time. That may be Light Try You. I don't know. So I was awfully surprised when I started paying attention. And did they show up in? I think they came in 3rd edition, maybe, or can we lay this at the feet of 2nd edition? Even the tiefling as a playable race. I feel like having multiple drow show up, it takes something that's a unique literary concept and moves it into the mundane. Like if you can bump into someone who has a grim backstory and that sort of thing, just on any side street, it really it takes away the uniqueness of it and makes it just like meh. And plus, I can't stand the art. I mean, they have horns that are like as thick as my thighs, growing like just ridiculous, And then they've got tails that are almost as big around as their torso. They look kind of freaking ridiculous. Tieflings are playable in 3.5. Forgotten Realms. Okay. So there you go. I mean, do what you want in your campaign, but I just think there's plenty of toys in the box already in 1E AD&D. You know, human, elf, dwarf, gnome, halfling, half elf, half orc, and dwarf. You know, that's it. And otherwise, I mean, if you're doing a thing where it's, you know, you can get so crazy, it just turns into Forehead of the Week club. Like was it? Was there a point at which I'm showing Swiss cheese memory, but wasn't there a point at which when Voyager, Star Trek The Next Generation, and DS9 were all on TV at the same time? Wasn't there like an overlap of a few seasons, or at least a couple of them were? And we used to laugh and say it's the Forehead of the Week club, because they would introduce new aliens and it would just be like a person. They'd put on lighter makeup or darker makeup and then stick some modeling clay on their forehead. And then, ooh, they're aliens. How can you tell? Well, they've got a weird forehead. So I kind of feel like this constant parade of just reskinned people is not really endemic to good gameplay. Now, I mean, with that said, OD&D says, hey, if you want to play as a Balrog, that's fine. You start as a young one. It says dragon, but in like the first sets, it says Balrog. It mentions androids as playable characters and that sort of thing. So, I mean, you know, I guess you can make the argument I'm not being very old school by wanting to restrict things a little bit. So a lot of people follow me on Twitter now. I guess 1,080 is a lot. I don't really know. I mean, is that a lot? You guys will have to tell me. But and I just post AD, and I try to be reductivist and just post AD&D stuff because that's all I care about. Yes, Bob, that is exactly. Or I'm sorry, Tonka. That is exactly what that means. But you know, it's like I posted up the other day. I said, you know, elf, human, dwarf, halfling, half elf, half orc. What more do you need? And then there was this little deluge of people saying, you know, yeah, races class and only elves and dwarves and halflings and yeah, and I'm like, no. You guys, look at the sign up there, first edition AD&D. And it kind of, I just kind of have these bless your heart moments. Sometimes I'll like post up a picture of my favorite module, and sometimes I'm running this with Old School Essentials right now. It's great. I'm like, that's nice for you, but that's, you know, that's like, I don't know. Not my tempo. But no, I mean, it's however you enjoy it. That's that sort of thing. But it's like, let's not get caught up in a purity spiral down here on the old school end, you know? Well, Pangoria, that depends on who you are talking to. If you're talking to Leonard McCoy, he most assuredly was half something. Oh, McCoy, what? You green-blooded half-human. McCoy would just get straight up hard R racist on Spock. Oh my gosh. Long and prosper. That's a Vulcan supremacist dog whistle. We're going straight to hell. Spock, do something. I love Leonard McCoy. I mean, honestly, Carl Urban is, in my opinion, an A-list movie actor, and he's kind of at a name your price stage in his career. But my God, would you absolutely not watch a hospital drama set in the Federation with Carl Urban playing Bones McCoy? You would. You would, and it would be awesome. It would be fantastic. Let's see, I'm just reading up here. Star Trek ER Tuesdays on the CW. Yes. I mean, how good would that be? Carl Urban as Bones McCoy in Star Trek ER. That would just be so cool. Now, Carl Urban was amazing as Judge Dredd because he kept the helmet on. Not just because but I mean, it's, well, I guess it's your call, hot shot. What? I said, it's your call, hot shot. And then fires a magnesium flare into the guy's mouth. So you could have just fired a bullet, just like normal lead slug, pop, boom. Okay, guy's just as dead. But he wanted that guy to feel it for like 30 seconds. It took that magnesium flare to burn through the guy. Oh my gosh. Urban is a parody of Kelly's performances seen through pop culture over decades. Yeah, but I thought it was a loving one. I liked it. And Babylon 5 was friggin' amazing, man. The 5th season was kind of middling, but they didn't know if they were going to have a 5th season. So they rushed everything into season 4 to finish it up by then, and then took the ideas and ported them over. Sean Hall, thank you very much. Don't forget to come back Wednesday. Don't forget to come back Wednesday, Sean, because Al Hammock will be here. Well, I think if they could have developed the character like with a Bones McCoy Star Trek ER show, we could have gotten more than the flesh deep. I like what JMS said about DS9. Somebody said, somebody asked him to comment, well, what do you think of Star Trek Deep Space Nine? And he said, "Oh, I think it's wonderful. I think it has great stories. I mean, they should. Most of them are ours." That's cool, Light Main. I actually, I got a little bit of a shout out. Patricia Tallman was live streaming on Facebook back during the height of this thing that has almost sidelined yours truly. And I was watching her live stream and interacted a little bit back and forth with her before it got too crowded in there. That was nice. Sorry, just responding to a PM. Do I still have the creeping cruds? Technically, yes. And I like my energy levels are not 100%, right? Like I've got to be careful and not try and drive my like, hey, I feel great. I can go out and clean the gutters finally for the first time in years, and so on and etc. Because that'll land my butt in the hospital, and I don't want that. So I'm just one step at a time. The movies were good too. The Babylon 5 movies. Third Space was nice and creepy. Third Space was basically Babylon 5 plus Call of Cthulhu. Legends of the Rangers was obviously them like, hey, we're going to do a spin-off TV show. Yeah, Legends of the Rangers wasn't good. Third Space was good. Yeah, I wish we'd seen Bester get his on screen. Rather than it just be implied. I really, really would have liked to have seen Mr. Garibaldi put paid to Bester once and for all. Hated that guy. Love the character. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to catch up on any. We've got a few minutes left here. I need to kind of take a deep breath. I read the one where the little critters that the little shoulder blob parasite creatures that the shadows left. I read about that one. So yeah, any questions you guys have got? Yeah, Mira Furlan passed, I think, in 2021. Yes, please. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it around, even though like the live streams, the live part is somewhat limited. You can absolutely share the video around. I know, Bob. I think about that from time to time. Mary Furlan, Jeff Conaway, Richard Biggs, Jerry Doyle, and I can't remember the actor who played the first commander. He passed away. Andreas Koutoulis, yes, he's left us also. The Long Dark Night of Londo Mollari, probably some of the best sci TV ever put out there. When he's confronted by the vision of Jakar, when he's lying there dying, and he said, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't speak out. And he said, you had an obligation to speak out. You had an obligation to say something. Good stuff. Chilling stuff. Oh yeah. She does VA in a lot of she's in she plays one of the major NPCs in Skyrim. She's like General Tullius's second in Skyrim. I haven't, Michael, but that sounds awesome. I'm going to check it out. Yeah, because, I mean, you know, JMS was so good at flipping expectations. When you first start the show, you know, you've got like this immediate expectation in the first season that the Narn are going to be the bad guys, and here's the Centauri, and there are these affable, roguish alien, and it just whole thing flipped 180 degrees. The Narn are these tragic peoples, and the Centauri turn into monsters, and just love it. Love the twists and turns. It's good stuff. Good stuff. And it wasn't on 30 years ago. It was on like 10. Babylon 5 first came out a few years ago, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. B5 versus DS9. I mean, for me, it's B5 hands down. Whenever anybody starts talking about this incredible story arc, and you know, Cisco becomes the chosen one, and then he meets up with these godlike aliens who tell him he's the chosen one, and he brings about an end to this war between. And I'm like, really? Do go on. How fascinating. A Christ allegory with the main character. Really? And you say they sit in a space station next to a space warp, and nobody knows who built the space stations or the space warps? Fascinating. That's right, Leggett Rick. And General Tullius was played by the actor who played Colonel Ty in the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. He's been in a ton of other stuff too. Yeah, Greymane. I got to go with Greymane. Well, I think that's about going to wrap it up for this evening, guys. So Wednesday night, Al Hammock will be on the show. So have your questions ready. Alan Hammock, TSR vet, Alan Hammock in the house. We're going to talk to him about Ghost Tower of Inverness. We're going to talk to him about doing editing work on the World of Greyhawk set. We'll catch up on some fun stories of how things went down at GaryCon. You're quite welcome, Chad. So any questions, guys? Any final questions before we wrap up? Quite welcome for the stream, guys. I'm slowly starting to feel a little bit better. Michael Hogan, yeah. Yeah, that is a shame. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. If you want to support the show on Patreon, guys, the crab's been pointing down to that. You can support us on patreon.com/thedelversdungeon or subscribestar.com/thedelversdungeon. I'm on the mend. Continue the trend. No worries. No worries. You can buy me coffee at buymecoffee.com/bsylvie. But until then, everyone, I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for your patience during my convalescence, and I'll be gradually getting better. So everyone, get all your questions written down. Get ready to ask Alan your questions. Remember to raise your hands and speak politely when it's your turn. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, and we'll play some first edition AD&D. And Wednesday we'll have Alan Hammock here. Thursday, I don't know what we'll do. Alan's thrown our schedule off. We'll have to find something. But Friday we'll be back with the Preamble Ramble, and then some classic Gamma World. Peace, everyone.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to